Hello and welcome to another weekly update. Hope you've had a good week. All the things I'm going to talk about this week are kind of all focused in on kind of Teams as a user and kind of training and upskilling, and then on the development side kind of some documentation stuff as well. So some interesting new things to talk about. So the first of those is it's around training for Microsoft Teams, and you might kind of think, why do I care about training for Microsoft Teams? Well, two reasons you should care. The first is that, yes, you might be a Teams developer, you might be a Skype for Business developer who's coming over to Teams, picking up some of those Teams development workloads, and that's fine and interesting. But are you using Teams the right way for you in your non-development work? So as the way your development teams work together to get projects done. Are you almost as a developer but not as a developer, if that makes sense? In your everything that is not the actual development of a Microsoft Teams solution, you're using Teams as a user. So when you're doing that, are you using it in the right way? And so I did this blog post. There's a new site that Microsoft have launched, which is Instructor-led training for Microsoft Teams. So it's a series of webinars that you can either go to or you can watch recorded, and they're walked through by experts, by Teams experts, guys and girls who really know what they're doing. There's a couple of different sections. There's a kind of intro, getting started one. There's an upgrade one. There's a moving over from Skype for Business one, it's a link. It's a list of these instructor-led sessions. They're on different dates, so you can sign up and do them live. They're happening right now. They've been happening throughout October. They go into November as well. And like I say, they're on different dates and different times, so you can kind of find one that's good for you. There's links off there as well to a load of other end user style training. So that you've got videos, you've got PDFs, you've got articles, and then there's a whole section dedicated to education. So there's an entire there's 15 sessions, all focused in on education. Lots of different kind of subsections within that, but it's all aimed at the education sector. So if you're in education, if you're moving over to Teams, then you absolutely need to look at this content. It is free, expert-led training for Microsoft Teams. It might not be for you, you may consider yourself an expert on Teams already, but it's for everybody else. You don't want to become the go-to person for Teams necessarily. You don't want to become the support desk for Teams. So use that training to get everybody else on board, get everybody upskilled. Yeah, there's loads. It's really good. I had a quick talk with Karuna Gatimer. She's the principal PM for customer insights and outreach for Teams, and she said some really interesting things. The one I'm going to pull out is this, which is getting familiar with Microsoft Teams is best done in an instructor-led environment where people can learn the basics, then learn the skills to truly design their hub for teamwork using additional features. If that sounds like it sort of makes sense and jives, with you, then you absolutely go and have a look at the blog post, because she said some other interesting things as well. And then go and check out this training as well. All right, next up, so for developers everywhere, including Teams developers and Skype for Business developers, Microsoft are moving their developer blogs. So there's a bunch of kind of dev blogs that have come up over the years. There's some really big names in there, like the Visual Studio blog, Brian Harry's blog, the PowerShell blog, Hey Scripting Guy, that's PowerShell Scripting blog, .NET blog, the Web Dev blog. There's loads. ALM Rangers. There's a bunch, and they're all moving over to a new format. This is primarily a good thing. It's a nicer format, it's a nicer design, it's easier to find stuff, there's better features, and all that sort of stuff. So it's been a while coming. Some of those blogs are really old and the format is kind of outdated. It started out sort of middle of last week, that moving process. Everything you should find everything kind of redirects itself. If it doesn't, then there are places you can go and submit some feedback and say it didn't work out. Again, I've linked to that in the blog. RSS should still work as well with all the redirects. I would say though, if you want my advice, even if the RSS redirects do work, I would go and update your RSS browser. Like, find out which ones are being redirected and go and update your browser to make sure that your RSS reader, make sure that you have the latest and the new URLs, because you never really know when those redirects might get turned off. All right, so that's happening kind of from now. So expect the changes in how a lot of those blogs look. And then finally, I came across this almost by accident, really. It's a bunch of tips and tricks for Office 365. So it's literally a page, it's a Microsoft page, and they list out almost like cards, like post-it notes, little tricks and tips around Office 365, and they're broken into a couple of different products. So there's one for Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Microsoft Teams. It's actually part of the support site, I think. So if you look at the address for it, it's support.office.com. But they're really good. They're little one-liners. They're kind of sort of almost like tips of the day. Each one's got a little headline, and then you click it, and there's a little picture, a couple of sentences, and a link off to more information if you want it. So really nice to kind of, if you are doing that process of onboarding users and moving users either from another platform or from Skype for Business into Teams, then yeah, it's good to have some of these tips and some of these little one-liner things you can have just to kind of throw at your users. It's another kind of interaction point. It's another way of just reminding users and introducing all these new features to users who may not know about them and may not necessarily understand them. All right, that's everything I wanted to talk about this week. Those are the kind of the things that have been happening in my week. So I hope you've had a good weekend so far, and I hope you continue to have a good weekend. I'm excited for next week. I know at least some of what I'm going to be talking about next time, because I'm hoping to publish it into next week, so that's very exciting. There'll be some super deep technical stuff for Teams, and then there's going to be a kind of a cool new feature that I'm going to give everybody, not just Teams people, all Office 365 people. So look out for that. Meanwhile, have a great week next week, and I will speak to you again next time.